Right. Hola, friends. Gonna do a collective timeless read for whoever resonates. Working on my little table out here for the first time because I really want to do this in the sunlight. I got to start shuffling. This is going to be about ancestral curses. I'm just going to ask Spirit, can you help us breaking the ancestral curses? I feel this time right now, what's going on, timelines are shifting. This is not a love reading, but I involve that. But this is a great time right now, this month man, a little bit, put the finishing blow to the generational curse and cut the tie. That's just kind of what we're asking. I've done something. I've gone through the deck and divided the major arcana from the rest of the deck. I'm going to pull a couple major arcana cards. I need to shuffle a little bit. I don't know. This is the way I was kind of got to do it here. Generational curses. I mean, Google it, but I mean, everybody watching this, I'm sure knows. I'll just tell you mine. It's so trying to make it succinct. My grandfather, father of my mother, and I really don't know anything about my father's side. Apparently he had 5. My mom was 40 when she had me, and she showed up lately. I haven't seen her my whole life. I'm 61 now. She's here. I know it's her because I finally hit me. She's the one that's always saying, slow down. She's always telling me, Sagittarius, she's Capricorn. She's like, honey, slow down. Just slow down. It's all right. Calm down. It's what I've been hearing for a month and a half now. And it's good advice. I need to hear it. Thank you, Mom. Thank you, Grandma. So the matriarch, but my grandfather's an evil man. I don't know his history. There's always a reason. But molested my mom and everybody else, women, girls, her sisters. So it became like this thing. I had no idea of this, and I've never had family. And I remember wanting to go visit my cousins and telling my mom, honey, we can't. And I would be so upset. I get mad, Sagittarius get mad like a horse kicking in a stall. And it wasn't until years and years and years later, that I realized she was protecting me. She left me with my grandmother, who was a special relationship with me. She's been with me since she died, my angel. And she did her best. Did her best. So I love my mom. She passed 97. Transitioned, and I really thought she probably was reincarnated real fast. Kind of my feeling. I had this weird feeling. I always be if anybody's born in 97, how are you? I would know. But I don't know. Now that she showed up, I don't know what that's about. It wasn't like in a dream. It was daytime. It's all time. But I get the feeling there's a lot of protection, which is another reason right now to break these curses. We have this energy, this crystalline white light. We're getting bombarded. You got Lionsgate opening. It's brave and strong. There's a lot of heart energy with Leo here just by itself. All these outer planets are tough and everything, but they're tough because they're breaking stuff. Maybe to break the generational curses of this world, and people can just live to live and not to make a profit, not to hurt someone else, just survive and have a life. And I think there's plenty here for us. There's plenty of food, there's plenty of water. It's ridiculous, but that's what I mean. But individually, we want to know, how can we break these generational curses? I'm shuffling a lot because I put both decks and I went through them by hand. I count my decks every so often anyway, and I just really wanted to do this. I felt this was an important read. So, Spirit, Fool on the bottom of the deck, the Empress, and the Magician. Well, they are close together, all of those, but I shuffled there. That doesn't matter. The Fool energy, yes. This is, if you weren't in the Fool energy overall, you wouldn't be here. Because we can't prove this, things about the spirit. I never argue I don't believe in the tarot. I don't believe, okay, it's fine. There's many paths to the mountaintop as there are climbers. I'm positive of that one. I would say it. It's agua. It's a little hot. But, it's the Caribbean, and it's like, I don't know even what time it is. It's hot afternoon time, and it's not that bad, but you got the sea breeze. I can't complain. So, and I think in this reading too, the Fool for me is our soul before we incarnate. I got to be honest, a lot of my information along these lines comes from psychics. I've done their chart. I know they know what they're talking about. One of them, Jacob Casey, he has some amazing things to say about what the deeper spiritual reality is. But there's some process that I think we put it in words, where our soul gets like a download of what the life, which also an astrologer, I think exactly what we see in the chart is a star map of the life's purpose here. But and basically you sign off on it. You got to agree to it, and then that's the full energy, because no one in their right fucking mind would sign on to this, to come down and suffer this. I mean, because I've been on the other side. It's pure ecstatic bliss. This is why many people say when they have a near-death experience, they say, hey, I don't want to come back. Well, I understand. No, you don't want to come back. It's like, yeah, but, you do what you're told sometimes. But it's a kind of like, it's not just taking a chance. It's, and when we come here with a Fool, because I think, oh man, they're supposed to be off today over there. Killing me, Holmes. No, I think it's the neighbor. But anyway, we'll push past that. But when we're born, we're the Fool. There's some of us have recall, but most of us don't. I think there's a reason for that. We're not supposed to focus on our past lives so much, We're supposed to focus on now, here and now. A lot of this is, I'm saying, going into the Fool. Now the Empress and the Magician. I'm going to clarify these. The reason I separated it is I want to see with the deck what we can do personally, okay? This is the bigger energy here, the spiritual energy. When I say personally, what can we, our ego selves, what can Davidsky do or not do that's going to help me really break this generational curse? Man, I feel like I'm right there. I'm right there. This is all part of what's going on. 8-8 is not even really, it's not peaking yet. So to me, it's like every day is like, this is a wave, and it's just going up fast and hard. And it's like every day you're at a different level, right? And I think it's just going to keep going that way. But the Empress and the Magician, we're looking at we talked about this is birth. I said this is the birth, right? The soul before your birth. Well, the Empress is the Great Mother. I mean, the Great Gaian Mother, the Great Mother Earth, the divine feminine aspect, and Venus. So I think that's important here. And Venus is the planet of unconditional love. It's the highest aspect. Neptune's the higher aspect of Venus, which is Venus and Neptune together in a good aspect or conjunction even. I think bring in that, you'll see unconditional love depending. There's no real harsh aspects otherwise. And so that's what we're talking about. This is unconditional love. And it's unconditional love coming from a place of strength. I think this is so important. The Empress is the strongest woman, the feminine energy in the deck. She has an entire empire to protect her. And I get the feeling that even her heart is protected. Like you can't, man, I had to talk with my heart about this. It's like, yeah, you might could get to her heart, but she's very strong, she knows that she could even deal with that. And so another thing that comes to mind, fearless, totally fearless. There's no fear. I mean, it doesn't exist in her world. It's like fear, I heard about it. I really never felt it. I've known someone that said that to me. He said, you think I'm a sociopath? I never feel fear. And I said, no, man, you're just fearless. Because he wasn't. But, it's really beautiful here. Just look at the Empress card. So beautiful. So confident and at peace and very comfortable, completely comfortable in our own skin. So as we come at this, there's all kind of advice in terms of ancestral healing these ancestral wounds and ancestral curses. And by the way, my evil grandfather, it was said that he even put a curse on the whole family. He went to a palm reader, who knows, and had this curse put on. And I remember even as a young man when it was told to me, and I remember thinking, well, that's I don't know about that, curses, but it's a damn good metaphor, because he sure as hell put a curse on our family. It's no joke. And this is what we're trying to break here, because this ruins people's lives, crushes us, crushes our potential, and crushes our soul, you know. You're violated as a child, I believe, particularly before the age of 7. It's irreparable. I mean, very best case scenario, you're going to go through life with a wound, but, you know, I love my fucking wounds, you know. Very serious. So, let's see what we get. We're approaching this with love, and with unconditional love, really is for ourselves, and with strength. That's so important. This is not like, I remember an adult children alcoholics, the first thing you want to do once you get like kind of woke is, you want to go talk to your family, and you know, and it's like, no, that's not how it works, you know. You got to work on yourself. You know, it's not about them. So that's the advice here. Oops. Okay, I got to get that because I'm not going to take those. But yeah, this is all just about us. And when I say ancestral curses, it's like, I definitely don't mean it's time to be calling up your relatives you haven't talked to in a while and discussing them with them. I'm telling you not to do it, but that's not the intention of this reading, you know. It's just for us to understand ourselves better, but it leads to that, you know. In love and light, we ask always for guidance. So the magician here is perfect. Using all of your resources here. Oh, man, let's see. Maybe I'm going to have to take these, because I know for a fact the 9 of Wands was one of them fell before. The 8 of Swords. Okay. And the 8 of Wands on the bottom. Let me talk about the magician here. I think what's going on, and I don't see how anyone really would argue this, it's we're going to have to use everything we got. The magician uses everything at our disposal, our mind and our ability to communicate, our passion, our willpower, our strength. This again, Leo season, fire, the wands that are in a person. The swords, using the mind and the thoughts, you know, emotionally becoming balanced. I think that's really important here, because the Empress, I'd say, she's emotionally whole and balanced. You're not going to throw her off balance, you know. Good luck with that, right? So, because when we approach this, it's almost, it's a battle, no? It's a battle. It wants to take control of us, this energy, and guide our lives. It's often, you'll see it in the chart, but you always have free will. The whole point of the chart is not to go, oh, well, look, here's what I'm going to do for the rest of my life. It's like to gain knowledge is strength, and to gain strength from it. And sometimes it helps us, particularly with transits, because if at certain times, and we go just willfully trying to put our energy somewhere where it's just really at that time, you know, like we want to put it in love, and it's the time where all this energy's come in and put it in your work, that's what astrology can come in and say, you're going to get more bang for your buck if you right now focus on your work, you know, even though that might be what you want, just as an example. But then even with the pentacles for the magician, it means putting in actual resources into this. At some point, you know, that could be simply buying a book, going to a seminar, doing that work. Because this is just really what this is. It's not lighting a candle and casting a spell, or it's not about the other people. That's what's so important. It's just about us. It's our own inner work, you know. I'd really like to see one more card for our personal guidance. Here, if I can manage to do it without one more card. And 4, It's about us doing our work. It's about that hermit energy, high priestess energy. It's about the tower, and it's about death. It's about the sun. It's about, you know, the world, ultimately. That's what we're going for. Okay. Let's see what got here. Ten of Pentacles. I like that. That's one of the best cards in the deck there. I'd say the most underrated. So I'd take the Nine of Wands, Eight of Swords, the Eight of Wands, and the Ten of Pentacles. Okay, guys. Thank you, Spirit. Okay, I'm seeing exactly the dilemma here, exactly the situation, the Nine of Wands. Because this is a reading for people who know what ancestral curses are. And it's something you've been dealing with, you know, possibly your whole life, you know, whatever age you are. And you, I relate to this, you've gone down, and you've gone down, and you've gone down, and you've 9 times. I won't drag it out. I feel like I want to, because it just, these are actions. You know, we've taken action. Sometimes it's like, I know for me, it's like I think everything through, and I think this is the right thing to do. I know it's the right thing to do. And then there's something I didn't think about it, and then 1, 2, but these are actions. And a bit of a struggle there. And then the Eight of Swords, that energy of being in our mind. This is, you know, insofar as I know, I was never molested or anything. It was a traumatic childhood, characterized a lot of abandonment. But the Eight of Swords very much expresses this energy. I always think of the Eight of Swords as being it's PTSD. So that's kind of what we're talking about, is PTSD. And which, by the way, ibogaine is really, iboga is probably a cure. I don't think it's available in the U.S., but go figure. But yeah, it's us being cursed to the point of where nothing even needs to happen in our environment. Our own mind triggers us. Badly sometimes. Panic attacks. Yeah, this is no joke. And the Eight of Wands here, for me, this is in the advice position in my 4-card spread. I'm sorry, I got to mention, Eight of Swords, this is challenging energy, right? Which I said, obviously that's what's been challenging us. You know, I don't want to drag this out too long, but I've dealt with this personally with my 3rd wife, I'll tell you. And, you know, I know this Eight of Swords energy. It's nightmares, it's the kind of... even if you work on this, it's so difficult to deal with this. And my heart goes out to everyone that's having to deal with this. But we have to break these generational curses. And generational curses don't have to be physical abuse necessarily. Physical abuse obviously is the worst, you know, that you could suffer. People may say no, you know, mental abuse. One thing I discovered for myself was what's called proximity abandonment. When somebody is there but not really there emotionally, just in a you know, like a bad pet owner, you know, there. And I understand that too. It can be, well, these are swords. It all ends up in our mind, however it goes. And you can't ever say, well, this suffering's worse than that. I mean, between what I do here with astrology and tarot, and decades in adult children of alcoholics, man, I've heard it all, like unbelievable horror stories. I used to think I had a bad childhood until I heard everybody, all these other people, and thought, well, mine was, you know, relatively, you know, wasn't so horrible. And then the Eight of Wands, I love the Eight of Wands, I love Ten of Pentacles. This is advice, and this is taking action. You know, it's like it gets swept under the rug. It's swept under the rug. That's the thing. And this is why it's a generational curse. Because even if we want to, it's like there's this energy of working against it. You know, it's only recently, oh God, even these politicians, it's like, why is it that there's like almost an instinct to cover this stuff up? Well, you know why it is. It's like the Libra in us. We just don't want to look at it, you know. But this is this is being exposed. This is taking strong action with a lot of confidence. The Eight of Wands. It's reaching out to other people and communicating. To go from the Eight of Swords to the Eight of Wands is a 180. So it's basically saying, you know, another way to look at this too, with the Eight of Swords and the Eight of Wands. I know it's shown. You know, this is getting out of your head and taking action. It's like somebody telling you, get up out of your head and go running and go take action. And it can mean, I think it's more along the lines of, you know, even if we have to join a group or take a conscious action. Wands are actions and put a lot of our heart and a lot of our energy into it, instead of into just sitting in this pain of the Eight of Swords here, no? And because this Eight of Wands coming with the Magician. So I think too, the Magician and the Eight of Wands tells me, I should sew them both together. The Magician and the Eight of Wands tells me, have confidence in your own ability to manifest. You not only can manifest a lover, you can manifest breaking a generational curse. Think about that one. And you should. That's big time. And I think when we really do this consciously and do the manifestation, however you do it, I use music, I write, use poetry. Very few people have any clue what I'm doing. It's like I write poetry to the universe, no, usually. However you do it, but it's taking an action, it's doing something, and believing that you're actually doing something, right? And you can do something. I mean, I don't know what it is. You make an altar in your house and you know, pray to your God for guides, and to your, just as an example, or your ancestors there. You can, you know, whatever religion you have, however you turn your mind to this, you can make these kind of intentions, you know. It's a great time to do it. I mean, the energy's so powerful. The new moon and the full moon, it's here. You know, the 8th is big. The 8th is big. You could kind of wind up something into that. What a beautiful time for an intention. It's like if you shoot an arrow into the 8th with all your heart, it's going to hit what you want, I think. I really do. I mean, that's kind of what we're doing here is really, but we got to think about it. This is really not, problem with this is it's not really thinking about it. It's just kind of worrying about it, and it's like we walk right up to go, and we just stay in this state of like turmoil, and we really don't really accomplish anything with the 8 of Swords. That's the problem, because it's a shitload of energy. 8 is fantastic, but when we turn it into this, well, now we're going places. It's completely different, you know, and having that trust that we can go places, that our manifestations can work. You know, I talk here a lot about manifesting love, but you manifest, you know, obviously, I think the other thing, people manifesting wealth. Well, how about manifesting peace? You get peace, you just bypass all the other stuff. And what we want out of this, to break a generational curse, is that to bring peace upon ourselves. And the 10 of Pentacles, I see here as a promise coming out, because it's one of the most solid cards in the deck. But this is us personally reaching a state of being in control, secure, confident, in a very grounded way. This is the kind of mature confidence that, you know, you don't go around bragging about it and hey and This is just like that person that's self-contained and at ease in themselves, can live in their own skin with ease, with grace. Think about grace. Think about the Empress too, goes back. This is the Empress here, which was the challenge. So the challenge is to become the Empress, right? Don't like look for an Empress, become the Empress. And the Empress exactly has this energy, you know. This is not, also I think the energy here in terms of manifestation is kind of clear. And this is what I call the walk away. So it's having so much confidence. Well, this is so much. Read this as so much confidence in your abilities to make something happen. You have so much confidence in your abilities to make something happen that you stop worrying about it, the Eight of Swords, and you know it's coming. Because, you know, guys, again, I told you I'm familiar with this, and you know, it's a tough nut to crack, but certainly manifestation can be a part of this. And I think there's a promise here, you know, that it could be significantly helpful and successful. And I see quick, too, with the Eight of Wands and the advice. I see quick. It's like you might be shocked, because it's 8-8 coming, guys, a week away. You could be shocked by how quickly this peace manifests as you really break your generational curse. You know, I'll tell you, when I was 17, I went to a therapist and made an appointment. And she said, you know, about your mom. People always ask me, where's your mom? I basically raised myself. And I said, well, no, I read a lot, and I realized I probably got emotional problems, so I figured prudent thing to do, I get myself a therapist, and my mom has insurance. And she said, yeah, I see you, and gave me her number. I said, well, you know, so yeah, I think maybe you can help me. But I think after it was a little over a year of seeing her, she told me, I've been thinking hard about whether to tell you this, because I don't know for sure. And she said, but I think you might have been molested when you were a baby, and you just can't remember it, you know. And she had her reasons. She explained her reasons. And I looked at her and I said, well, what in the hell am I supposed to do with that, really? I mean, let's assume it's true. But she said, like, you just carry so much fear. And I had a hard time with that, because I don't feel like I carry a lot of fear. And I guess I didn't then, but she certainly felt that way. She's an older lady, been a therapist for many. I trusted her with my life, obviously. So maybe that started it for me. And then it wasn't really till later in my life that I discovered about my family situation. I ended up having it in finding it over and over in numerous relationships. And someone who would really know, they said, you know, it's karma. I mean, it's karma, obviously. And I feel like, yea, though you walk through the valley of the shadow of death, fear no evil. For, you know, that's kind of what happened. It's like, I don't know what happened when I was a baby. Could be. But I felt like I just felt kind of a survivor's complex, because it's like everybody else around is falling down. When I look back, at the time I didn't see it, but now I look back and it's like, shit, you know. And the blade was coming so close. My grandfather was right there. You know, he didn't talk to me. For years I'd live with him. Mom would leave me there. My grandma was wonderful, but he didn't talk. He didn't say, you asshole, I hate you, I wish you would die, hello, goodbye. Nothing at all. And, you know, the proximity abandonment, right? And then he would be like the number one male influence in my life, probably. Right? So I understand. And I'm manifesting my ass off, you know. I think everybody has to do it their way. What I would say, as I say, if you want to join me, is just in the name of love and light, so it serves the greatest good spirit. Yes. Guide us, protect us, give us strength.